Yep, that's right. I'm back, everyone. It's like a bad sweater your least favorite aunt gives you for Christmas. You just can't get rid of me. Day 29 is upon us, and you know what that means? It means we've only got 2 more days to go. Woo woo! So, with that being said, here's another couple of spooky tales from the Thought Catalog for you. Tomorrow, I will have the scariest thing that has ever happened to me for you. And then on Halloween, I'll be wrapping up the series and doing a very cool giveaway, so stay tuned for that. Let's get started with the last tales borrowed from the Internet Archive, shall we? This happened about 8 or so years ago around Thanksgiving at my grandma's house. Everyone was asleep except for me. The only people in the house were my grandparents, my mom, my brother, and I. No one else. This is key. I was on the computer because I couldn't sleep. I turned on a small TV to watch Adult Swim while I browsed the internet. At around 4:30, I started getting a chill up my spine, and I heard some children laugh. Distinctly the voices of a little girl and a little boy. I know I'm all by myself as far as being awake, so I turned to look at the TV, and it was in the middle of an Inuyasha fight sequence, so there's no way the laughter was coming from that. I checked the computer sound settings, and I had every possible output muted, so it wasn't that either. I sat there confused for a few moments while the giggles of the 2 children were playing in the background. I figured maybe the radio in the kitchen was on. It was digital, so maybe it just came on for some reason, or it had a timer. I got up, and I kid you not, as I was walking to the door, with each step the laughter grew louder. From giggling to guffaws or hard laughter. Once the guffaws started, I started to hear a baby cry as well. What's going through my mind now is, what the hell kind of radio show is this? And I just took 3 steps, nowhere near the door. I took a few more steps and the laughter turned hysterical, if not maniacal. The baby's cries turned to screams and wails as if it were in pain. I was trembling and terrified with each step I took to the doorway, but my mind was on autopilot. I needed to get out of there and across the hall to my mom, who surely would help me and notice the weird sounds too. The last couple of steps increased the laughter and crying to an almost deafening level. It was like I was at a concert and the speakers were directly in my ears blasting noise. It was painful and scared the shit out of me. I took all the courage I had, and as soon as I reached the doorway, I was going to sprint. I started to run, but then something shoved me. I felt these hands at my chest push me back into the room with enough force to throw me off balance. The crying and laughter stopped as soon as I was back in the room. This all happened within 20 to 30 seconds, but it felt like 10 minutes. I was so scared I cried and slept in the tiny armchair before my grandma came in the room and made me sleep in her bed downstairs. I personally do not believe in the paranormal, but some of the experiences I had at my dad's house as a teenager sometimes make me think otherwise. My whole family experienced plenty of strange happenings at this place, but the most jarring occurred when I was 17 years old. I rarely visited my dad's, but whenever I did make that hour-long trip into the nothingness of Wisconsin, I was always uneasy of what I might see or hear that night. The house had some very unique features that always struck me as strange, the most notable being a small crawl space in my bedroom that connected to my sister's bedroom adjacent to mine. Both sides of the crawl space were fitted with a small door. We never really knew what the purpose of the tunnel was, as it was far too small to use for storage, and even too cramped for a grown adult to comfortably navigate. Anyway, this particular night when I went to bed, I heard some very strange noises, almost like a faint whimper or crying. I didn't think much of this because it wasn't uncommon for coyotes to come by the house at night looking to prey on our poor barn cats. The night went on and the noises came and went. Struggling to sleep, I went downstairs to grab a glass of water from the kitchen. When I came back into my room, I noticed that the door to the crawl space was now ajar and the whimpering had stopped. More than a little startled at this point, I quickly got back into bed and tried my best to fall asleep. Eventually, I was able to fall back asleep, but was later awakened when I felt a sinking feeling at the foot of my bed. I assumed that I must have left my bedroom door cracked and one of the house cats had climbed onto my bed. I closed my eyes and tried to fall back asleep and was forced awake by the sound of a slamming door. I opened my eyes and noticed that the door to the crawl space had been slammed shut. Then I quickly glanced at the foot of my bed and saw the outline of a large figure staring at me from the end of my bed. The figure was all black with bright white eyes. I got out of my bed as fast as I could and ran downstairs. I spent the rest of the night awake on the couch. I still don't know what I saw or if it was even real. I was ready to chalk it up to sleep paralysis, but my sister told me the next morning that she also was awakened by the sound of the crawl space door slamming. That was one of the last times I spent the night there. And if that wasn't bad enough, 5 years later, my dad and stepmom decided to add an extension to the house. And when they were digging the foundation for the extension, they uncovered gravestones from the 1800s. No, thank you. Oh, I am well and truly creeped out by that last one. And you'll hear why when I tell you my scariest experience ever in tomorrow's video. As always, links to everything are in the diddly thing down there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck.